This country is really special to me. Why? Under native title, it's not my country, but native title was a government introduced act that we're meant to follow, so I'm not going to take that to heart. I know where my heart country is. I've lived in Perth all my life, and I just love the smell of the bush. I love seeing all the flora and fauna, particularly the fauna, when you're lucky enough to see it, because we're losing a lot of them because of development. In 1902, my grandmother was removed from New Norcia and put into an orphanage, but it wasn't really an orphanage because her mother was alive. It was part of the 1905 Act of removal, and she was put out to service when she was 13 and worked there for 52 years without being paid, which is something that a lot of us have gone through here in this state in particular. Pretty sad when I managed to catch up with her sister, who she'd never seen. She was told that her sister was a naughty girl, and I didn't have the heart to tell her 83-year-old sick sister that how can you be a naughty girl when you're 2? So I've gone on a journey of discovery of who I actually am. The authorities came to my school when I was 11, pulled me into the principal's office and asked me, "What are you?" I didn't understand, as an 11-year-old wouldn't, and I just said, "I'm Australian," and they told me to go home and talk to my mum, which I did, and my grandmother was living with me at the time. So they quickly, with a shocked look on their face, said, "You go tell them you're Italian." So as an 11-year-old does, I went back and said, "I'm Italian," for which they then went along. And then I went on the journey of trying to learn all about Italian and embrace the Italian culture. Although I knew I was still different because the Italians treated me a little bit differently and questioned that. But it wasn't until I was a bit older and nursing that it was actually, I actually found out I was of Aboriginal descent. And then I guess I got really angry, not angry at my family, but angry at the government for making their own people deny who they actually are and take on someone else's heritage. So from then on, I've been trying to right the wrongs that the government have done to our people, because the law was the white men were not allowed to mix with the Aboriginal women, for which they did, hence why there's a lot of us fair-skinned ones. Or they created the 1905 Act and the removal policy to separate us, which is pretty sad because when I did find my family, I was too scared to go to them because I obviously don't look Aboriginal. But once I did, they cried and cried, as we both did. So there's a lot of us that need to do healing, and there's a lot of Aboriginal people out there, or people of Aboriginal descent, who don't know. And deep down they may know because they've got such a connection to country, but they don't know, or they don't want to know, because in these homes and missions, places of horror, the Aboriginality was beaten out of our people, and they were told to be shamed about it, hence why we're now revitalising our language. We're revitalising even more our culture. I'm not saying it had disappeared, it was just asleep. So we're now wakening all that up, and it's really quite exciting. But we need strong leadership from the top to create this change for all Australians. It's not just about us, it's about all Australians owning our ancient history and being proud of it. So it's been a long journey, it's been an exciting journey. I found hundreds of family members when I thought, you know, I had a small nuclear family, but I've got hundreds. I'm really proud to stand here and say, yes, I'm of Aboriginal descent. Yes, I belong to the Bibbulmun Nation. I've cried an ocean of tears for my grandmothers and my mother and all those that had their children removed for nothing more than to try and break us. But we are not broken, we're still here, and we're not going to go away. We're just going to get stronger. And the law is in the land, and we know that. We just want other people to understand it's still here.